In this video, I want to talk about inheritance and polymorphism. Just as I mentioned in the object-oriented programming video, when we talk about inheritance, it's better to think of parent and child. A parent is someone whose genetic information is passed down, and a child is someone who inherits that genetic information. Inheritance in object-oriented programming primarily revolves around classes. Anything existing in the real world can be represented as a class in the world of computers. For example, a human can have its own specific class where all the characteristics of a human are defined as a field, properties, and methods within that class. Now, considering these concepts, let's give a practical example of creating a class in C# and how a child class can inherit from a parent class or base class. As you may know, after creating a console application project in Visual Studio, there was only one class named program.cs. Now, I want to create a class named person. I go to the Solution Explorer, right-click on the project name, click on Add, then select Class. In the window that opens, I write the name of the class in the Name section and click the Add button. We change the class access to public, write the properties and methods we want. And then go back to the program.cs for testing. We create an object of the person class and initialize it. Then, using the write-len command, we print the method we wrote for the person class. As expected, the output is printed. Now, let's create two more classes. First, I want to create a class named Student. Now that we know how to create a class, we change the access of this class to public and inherit from the person class in the same way. Now, all the properties and methods of the person class are inherited, and we no longer need to rewrite them in this class. Now, I write the properties specific to this class. Similarly, as you can see, I create a class named Teacher and inherit from the person class. Then, write the properties specific to this class. Now, let's go back to the program.cs and create an object for each class. As you can see, without any errors, we can enter values for first name, last name, and age in the student and teacher classes. Also, for the object created from the student class, we can enter the value for grade. And for the object created from the teacher class, we can enter the value for subject. Additionally, for displaying the result, we can use the getDetails method, which is written in the person class as a base class for all. For example, I use the writeLine command, and as you can see, we haven't defined the getDetails method in any of the child classes, student and teacher, but with inheritance, we can use these methods as if it were written for the child classes. Now, I intend to personalize the getDetails method for each of the child classes. This is where polymorphism comes into play as one of the concepts of object-oriented programming. As I mentioned in the object-oriented programming video, polymorphism means having many forms. In the programming world and C#, this means that a method can be defined more than once. We have two types of polymorphism: method overloading and method overriding. Method overloading means having method with the same name but different signatures within the same class. Let's create an overloaded method for getDetails. We exactly write the getDetails method again, but this time we consider a parameter, for example, a string skin color, and we tell it to return the name and skin color as a result. In the program.cs class, I write the color back as a parameter for the getDetails method. And you can see that the result of the second method is returned in the output. Keep in mind that if I pass a parameter for the getDetails method in program.cs, the output will be first name and skin color. And if I don't pass a parameter, the output will be first name, last name, and age. Overriding means that in the child class, we can write a method with the same name as our method in the base class and make any changes we want. All we need to do in the base class is to use virtual before the method, and in the child class, use override before the method name. In the student class, we say that when this method is used, return the name and grade. And in the teacher class, we say that when this method is used, return the name and subject. Now, let's go and see the final output together. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I hope you learned something, and thank you for supporting me with subscribe and like.